So now we're gonna be talking about XRP, but before we do so, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to hit that subscribe button in there. Also hit that notification button so you can get basically a notification and be alerted about the new TAs that we're bringing you about the hottest cryptocurrencies in the market. Also, please follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at Ali_charts. You can follow my co-host Akash at Mac&Co with a 0 at the end. And you can also follow Jonathan at Just Analysis 1. Now, when we look at XRP from an on-chain perspective, it does seem like in the short term it may have it may correct a little bit further, and I'm saying this because of this let's call it death cross between the NVRV 30-day ratio and basically the 7-day moving average of this indicator, right? So as you guys can see here, every time we have the red line coming above the basically the pink line, what we have is a steep correction, right? I mean, that's what basically we're seeing currently. That's something that we also saw right here, right? Which is basically mark the top, that death cross right there, right? Before prices continue going down, and kind of like the same thing happened back here in August 16th, right? Where basically prices went down after the death cross occurred, and the same thing happened around August 21st, right? So right now we're getting a death cross right there, which is telling me that hey, there could be a little bit more of a downside potential for XRP in the short term, right? But when we look at the network dynamics, right, and when we try to see what's going on for the long term, I do believe that any downswing that XRP prints right now is a potential opportunity to buy more of these tokens, right? And I'm saying this because the network right now is currently growing at an exponential rate. So even though with all the volatility that we saw, especially after September 7th, that prices literally just plummeted around 40%, the network continued expanding at an exponential rate, right? I mean, we got a series of higher highs and higher lows on this on-chain metric, and today we got a new higher high. And that higher high came with a significant spike in active addresses on the network, as well as, I mean, from an hourly perspective, as well as the daily active addresses. The only on-chain metric that is missing in here to basically validate the bullish potential that XRP has is basically on-chain volume. For on-chain volume, what we're seeing is it's basically a continuous decline. I mean, the on-chain volume is currently making a series of lower lows and lower highs, which is basically trending downward. And I would love to see this on-chain metric to spike just as network growth, active addresses on an hourly perspective, and daily active addresses is doing for prices to continue marching forward, right? So as of right now, for the short-term perspective, I do believe that XRP could potentially dive a little bit further, but from a mid-term to long-term perspective, I do believe that this cryptocurrency has way more room to go up, especially because of the bullish divergence that is being created between prices and network growth. Also, it is worth noting that those wells on the network with 1 million tokens and more, basically they have been just buying XRP, right? I mean, of course, they went through a brief, profit-taking phase, basically between September 13 and September 22nd, but since then the trend has been going up, and basically we saw roughly 1,605 wells on the network with more than 1 million XRP tokens on October 8th, which basically is printing a higher high than the high that we saw on September 11, where there were 1,602 big wells on the network. So if we were to get another higher high, basically, when the addresses on the network holding 1 million or more XRP tokens basically move past the 1,605 basically benchmark, This will basically for me confirm that yeah, XRP is heading higher. I mean, like as of right now, I am in the belief that XRP is heading higher just because of this constant uptrend that we're seeing in here, and especially because of network growth. But this could basically be the last validation point that I would need, right? It will tell me that during the recent correction, right, that we saw basically from 1.20 cents to we're currently trading at 1.08. Whales took advantage of that downswing to continue adding more tokens to their holdings, right? And with that significant increase in network growth, that's basically all I need to turn more bullish on this cryptocurrency. But yeah, for the short term, I do believe that there might be a little bit of potential for it to go a little bit lower, but in the midterm to long term, I do believe that XRP has the potential to continue going up, potentially towards $1.42 first, and then if that level is broken, maybe it will go towards $2 or even $3. But that's what I'm looking at from an on-chain perspective. If you, Jonathan, are back, maybe you want to pitch in or maybe you
Sure.
cash. Okay.
Yeah, I'll go
Excellent.
ahead. So I gotta say one thing though. This weekly candlestick is ugly. If you're a bull, this is not the kind of candle that you want to see. And I mean, I'm not a huge candlestick person, but whenever you see like a gravestone doji developing, it makes one really question if there's any strength left on the long side of the market. I mean, there's a ton of rejection zones up here on the weekly chart. I mean, you have Tenkan-sen, the Kijun-sen, top of the cloud, bottom of the cloud. I mean, Ripple is at a really, really good risk of abandoning all support structure on the weekly Ichimoku chart, something it has not done since, you'd have to go back to the week of March 20th, the COVID crash. That was the last time you had that kind of event occur. So, I mean, it's sitting right on its last cusp of support on the weekly chart. On the daily chart, I mean, it's inside the cloud. This is kind of I feel like I talked about this ad nauseum when in my writing and talking, but again, in Ichimoku analysis, things really don't convert to the bullish side until the lagging span is above, or the Chiku span, whatever you want to call it, is above the candlesticks, and the close is above cloud. So in order for those conditions to be, I mean, there's other conditions, but in order for those two final things to be true, you really need to see Ethereum close at 118, and then you have a pretty clear bullish move. But just like we looked at it on Ethereum, a lot of these altcoins are really struggling against these bear market levels in the RSI. And so if they fail to invalidate this hidden bearish divergence that has existed for almost a month now, has been developing and has for over a month and has been, confirmed for a little over 2 weeks now. I mean, there's this is just, what is it? This looks like a pretty standard looking bear flag. And if you're going to project, you just really quickly, where it would end up using the primary swing structure that exists. I mean, you are looking at, 71.5 cents as that next low zone. That's the 100% extension from that swing I just drew. So yeah, there's some real downside risk there. And I mean, I try not to bring in other markets into things because I'm just a technical guy, but at the same time, I have to recognize that the broader risk on markets are under threat right now. There's a lot of risk in them, and there's a lot of, I mean, when you look at the stock market, and cryptocurrencies are more correlated to the movement of the stock market than they are to gold. That's just the reality. This is the definition of a risk on market. And we have all these institutions putting money into things like Ripple and Ethereum and Bitcoin. When things begin to sell off, it is their risk management policy to abandon the riskiest assets first. That is cryptocurrencies. They will get abandoned first to raise cash to cover other things or to preserve cash. And this market is perfectly positioned for an outflow of money to really, really put a big dent into the current valuation of the overall market. But yeah, that's just, I mean, Ripple, it's inside the cloud. It's not, I mean, it's not very far away from converting into a full-blown bull, but structurally it still looks very weak here. That's what I've got on Ripple.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting to say. I mean, from a weekly perspective, of course, it's Tuesday, right? I mean, it might be a little bit too early to try to analyze that candlestick, but yes, as of right now, if the week was closed like today, right, with the point that it is today, then yeah, I mean that's a very ugly candlestick right there. But yeah, I mean, I do see a lot of support at $1. I believe that that's kind of like also a psychological support and I don't know. I mean, from a technical perspective, I'm seeing a couple of indicators hovering around that zone, which could potentially hold the downswing, right? But yeah, I mean, once again, the growth of the network that I'm seeing sets me bullish for the long term, but for the short term, the interaction of the death cross between the 7-day MVRV 30-day moving average and the MVRV 30-day ratio, right, tells me that yeah, there's potential for more downside, but yeah, we'll have to see what happens, because a break of $1 could be very catastrophic for this cryptocurrency.
Oh yeah.
And on the downside, so I'm seeing here that some of your targets could be 83 cents or even 65 cents. Is that right?
Yeah, really between that 68.5 and 72 cent range. That's the but I mean, it's realistically, because the volume profile is extremely thin. I mean, it's not extremely thin, but it is quite thin down there. But I mean, you really don't see it thicken up until you get towards 60 cents. But yeah, I mean, the extension wise, I mean, at 68 to 72 cents, I guess, is really where the next projected low would be if it's going to follow that swing structure.
Okay. And now for the upside potential, I mean, what could get you bullish on this cryptocurrency?
I just have to see a daily close above the cloud, because that will then put all of the other conditions on the Ichimoku system. That will
shift at what price point, sir?
118
What is
even.
the price point? Okay, so above 118 could get you a little bit bullish on this cryptocurrency, and then you will be targeting, I'm guessing, 1.41, right?
Yeah, roughly. Actually, the level actually went up over the weekend. More like it's closer to just $2 even. Is that zone now?
Okay, that's great to know. So yeah, I mean, it does seem that XRP could be bound for lower lows in the short term, right? But a break of $1 could be catastrophic, right? Now we'll just have to wait and see what's happening. Are you seeing something different from a shorter time perspective, Akash?
Yep, definitely. Jonathan, I don't want to ask you, like, when you meant the cryptocurrency market is more correlated to the stock markets than the gold, like, did you mean it like very loosely, or like do you actually mean like correlation, like calculating correlation efficiency, that kind of stuff?
I mean, in their movement is how they grow, as far as if you were to line their charts up to one another, they mirror each other more than often than not.
Because what I was checking is like the Bitcoin correlation with the popular stock metrics. Like if you look at the dollar, yes, it's correlated. But other than that, like S&P, Russell, Nasdaq, Dow, everything is like negatively correlated. So
over a short time frame, yeah, that's going to happen. But if you look at if you compare the stock market's performance to Bitcoin's performance over the existence of Bitcoin's lifetime, it is heavily correlated to risk on markets. You're gonna, I mean, in any market, you're going to have periods where you're going to have periods of deviation. Like gold and the stock market will have periods where they move together for a long time, maybe a year or two, even though those are non-correlated markets, but they will experience, 24 to 48 months worth of kind of the same directional movement.
But
even though they're opposites a lot of times.
Right. But considering how, like, over the course, you said over the course of Bitcoin's lifetime, right? Like when Bitcoin was born right out of the 2000 financial crisis, and like since then everything's been going up. Even the stock market's been going up.
Exactly.
So I think it kind of makes sense. Like like if you look at it that way, yes. But coming back to the topic at hand, XRP, I am completely bullish on XRP, and let me show you probably three reasons why. The first one is obviously like it's really obvious right now, apparent here, because of this inverse head and shoulders pattern that we saw here earlier, which led to roughly 275% upswing. The projected targets were 275, but we saw 226. And right now, I think a similar structure has been taking shape. And I think we are going to see this. But as for the drop, right, you guys were talking about like a drop below 1 would be catastrophic. Yes, I agree with that. But I don't think we're going to see a drop below 1 probably. I think it could come down to this level here, which is 0.862. And at the most, we could come down to 0.82. But I don't think going below this makes any sense right now, considering how like Bitcoin's bullish. And like this is the last quarter, I am like extremely bullish, right? This is the first point for me that shows me why I'm bullish. And the second point is, my bad, hold up. Yeah, another thing is if you look at these two structures, right? The right shoulder, the purple one is the bars that I just took from this shoulder over here, and this structure is the black one here. And if you see how extremely similar the shaping up to be, like this double bottom that we see here kind of happened here as well. And now we're approaching this level. Yes, this drop that I see here is something that we're going to get, or something that we got here. And that is another reason why I don't think it's going to, even if it extends below $1, although it won't, probably will wick down below $1, but close around that and maybe recover quickly. That's what I'm looking at for XRP, right? And like, this is another reason why I don't think it's that bearish. And another structure that I'm seeing here is, excuse me, it's gonna take me, okay, nope. Is it this? Yes, it is this, right? And you see this symmetrical triangle in, one sec, is it, yep. Is it this? Yes, cool. So based on the head and shoulders pattern, I'm expecting it to retest the all-time high, probably even set up a new one. All-time high for XRP comes around 3.317, and based on the head and shoulders, it's predicting 3.64, 3.63, anywhere in that vicinity is fine for me. I'll take that. And based on the symmetrical patterns, right, like very loosely measuring this theoretical target, I think 799, 780, 700% upswing kind of is possible based on, and this is not the first time, this is a different pattern that I predicted, $10 XRP, and there was another pattern, I'm not sure which it was, probably cup and handle if I remember correctly. So even in that pattern, kind of we got the target of $10 XRP, 10 or $15, I'm not sure, but yeah. So these are the three reasons why I'm bullish on XRP.
But under this pattern, for example, under the idea of a symmetrical triangle, then if you do get that close below $1, then it could go down. Okay, as far as
it's still
90,
still inside
90 cents, right?
Yeah.
I see. If you add the moving average here, where is the 200-day moving average sitting?
Month, one sec. Where are my moving averages? Yeah, this is the 200.
Yeah, okay. So
yeah, exactly the $1 level.
$1, yeah. That's insane. Okay,
Yeah, I think it's there's a
okay.
confluence of support levels at
There's a
$1.
confluence of support out there. Yeah, because also on the I believe on the 4 hour, 6 hour, and on 1 hour, I mean the TD sequential indicator setup trend line also sits around $1, suggesting that there is a strong support right there. But I do
Yeah.
believe that a decisive close on the daily below $1 could create a little bit of panic in the market and maybe lead to a downswing towards 86 cents. And then from there we'll have to see, right? Because if it breaks below 81 cents, then I mean XRP is potentially going towards 50 cents. But of course we do not want to see we do not want to see a close below 81 cents, right?
Yeah, definitely not below 81
bullish
cents.
outlook to hold.
Yeah.
For the bullish outlook to hold, but yeah, I mean as of right now, from a weekly perspective, I mean it's only Tuesday, but as Jonathan said, if the candlestick were to close exactly how it is right now, it will paint a very bearish outlook for XRP. But from an on-chain perspective, I mean the activity that I'm seeing on the network growth, the daily the spike in daily active addresses, the spike in active addresses on an hourly perspective, it all tells me that yeah, I mean this cryptocurrency is bound for higher highs. But the death crossing the NVRV 30D ratio tells me that yeah, I mean we could potentially see a retest of $1. But on the upside, I'm guessing that you, Akash, what is your, I mean what could what price point will signal to you that hey, we have a breakout? Would it be a close above that high of 1.18 or what?
Yeah, I think like once we get a close and a retest of this inclined trend line, like just to be safe, I want to close above 1.26, 1.27.
Okay. Okay.
I think a close above that would be a confirmation for me.
Okay, a close above 1.27, 130 would be a confirmation that XRP basically has to retest previous all-time highs and potentially XRP at $10, becoming the standard basically. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens, right? Because I mean it does seem to be printing a couple of bearish signals from an on-chain perspective, so from a technical perspective, as Jonathan indicated. But now when we look at a longer time frame and some of the potential chart patterns that are developing on this cryptocurrency, I mean, with the development of a head and shoulders pattern as well as symmetrical triangle, they all point to XRP at higher highs, right? But now it's just a matter of waiting and seeing. And if you do not like to wait, just hit the subscribe button and just come back on Thursdays and on Fridays for us to continue updating you about what XRP and all of the other cryptocurrencies are going next.